Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Absolute Wonder Woman issue 16, written by Kelly Thompson, with art by Hayden Sherman, colours by Jordi Belair, and letters by Becky Carey. Zatanna finally makes her move against Wonder Woman this issue, but before all of that, a very young Diana is met on the beaches of the Wild Isle by Aphrodite, who is happy to see the child, asking what she did today, interested in learning more about Diana. Diana is stirred from her dream, or maybe it was a vision of what's to come, as she now seems to believe that something is coming. Returning to the Huron, Diana finds her new friends Ferdinand and Petra waiting for her, telling them of her vision and how they don't need to worry just yet. I'm so glad that Ferdinand is sticking around, it seems. I love the guy, he's so much fun, and his inclusion is just growing Diana's little team that much more. She's got this little support team, and every now and then she collects someone new to be someone who's there to help her, give her, the lowdown on the villain they're fighting. I really like the idea that she has a team, and hey, maybe that could grow into like a hero version of that team. Maybe she brings in Batman and Superman and all those people. I mean, she's living in what is essentially the Hall of Justice. It's gonna happen sooner or later. Diana finds out that during her rest, the last of the refugees have left, with only Ferd and Petra left, but Diana won't hear when they call themselves refugees, since they can use the Heron as their home for as long as they wish. Interestingly, there is going to be a Senate hearing regarding all of these refugees and what has happened recently in Gateway City, but Diana isn't too interested in it. Across the country in Washington, D.C., Steve Trevor is in front of the Senate hearing, asked by the senators why he doesn't believe that there is some conflict of interest between his duties as an American soldier and of his partnership with the Wonder Woman they have been hearing so much about, calling her a foreign immigrant. Steve says that his task is to serve and protect the American people, and there was only one person on the beach the day the Tetracide decided to attack Gateway City that understood what was happening, so he did his best to help Diana solve their problem. Yeah, so this is kind of like the perfect role for Steve, acting as some type of liaison, envoy to Diana, and trying to show the world that she can be trusted. He's like one of the first humans that she had contact with, and so he has like first-hand experience of what she is actually like. I did like that Diana had no interest in wanting to watch the hearing, having full faith in Steve, but also she cares little for what the government actually thinks of her, since she knows what she's doing is right and she doesn't answer to them, so she's just going to keep doing what she's doing. There's a great through line across all of these Absolute books of the heroes trying to gain the trust or sort their way through it of the people of Earth and trying to show them that they can be heroes. Superman's been doing it over in Absolute Superman. Batman has been seeing what happens when the people of Gotham see his symbol as something to fight with, maybe even commodify. And hell, even Flash has been, surrounded by people who have been seeing him as a hero as well. And I just like that we aren't immediately jumping to everyone loves the heroes and is welcoming them and is, hailing them as like, the next coming of Christ or anything like that. It's a long road to that, and I've been enjoying the trip through these trials and tribulations these heroes have to go through. Steve goes on to say that thanks to Wonder Woman, they never lost a single civilian to the Tetracide, and without her, it would have been disastrous. The senators, though, dislike Steve calling her Wonder Woman, knowing that she goes by the Princess of Hell or the Witch of the Wild Isle as well, things they don't like one bit. The group think that Steve disobeyed direct orders from his senior commander, but Steve doesn't see it that way, as Diana had very good evidence to prove that she could defeat the monster, and because of it, he proposed himself as a liaison between Diana and the military, something he knows the government isn't going to allow to happen, since the government fears Diana and they don't want anything to do with her. Because of this though, Steve resigns his commission, telling the senator that he knows that the military are on the wrong side of history, but he's not going to be party to that. So from now on, if they want to speak to him, they'll have to go through a subpoena. Man, this is really the best Steve Trevor has been in a very long time, really just because he's actually in this book and he's not dead in hell or something in the Tom King book. And unlike that Tom King book, it isn't putting him in a position where Diana is practically worshipping a statue of him, isn't, bowing to the man in her life sort of thing. His story is largely his own, and it's adding a realistic political thriller angle to balance out Diana's fantastical adventures. Yeah, sure, they'll come together and sort of fight with each other against forces of evil or anything like that, but then they'll have these separate stories where they're just kind of off on their own, doing their own thing, as it should be. I quite like that. As Steve leaves the hearing, Veronica Kale oversees her projects in Area 41, having infected Ara, the Fishman Queen, with a parasite, which is very clearly Starro. The doctor tells Kale that she will not be able to control the parasite infecting the beings, but she doesn't care, since the parasite isn't about control, it's about something that she can use to beat the infected person with, as the parasite will degrade quickly over time, and if they do not return to Area 41, they will die, and if need be, they can even speed up the process, using the fear of death as a lever. So this is such a wild thing to just casually drop into this issue. Veronica Kale here is setting up her own version of Task Force X, using Starro parasites as the bombs in the prisoners' heads. I didn't expect we'd get Task Force X, let alone Starro stuff, so soon, and in a Wonder Woman book of all things, and it just makes so much sense though. Kale is really the only government person running these types of experiments on powered people. I guess you could say Eleanor Thorne kinda sorta did with, Barry and all of those things, but Kale is directly doing it. This is her job to do this sort of stuff, so it makes sense that she would be the one to develop Task Force X. Makes me wonder though, is Waller going to get involved, or does Amanda Waller exist in this world? If she does, what is she? Is she maybe Kale's boss? Is she like an underling for Kale who maybe, sees a chance to get one up on her and slowly take over? Really fun things could happen with this, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love that Kelly Thompson got to introduce Task Force X and a version of the Suicide Squad. The Doctor asks Kale why she needs this all done for tonight's big event at the museum, since people are bound to get hurt in the crossfire, and Kale knows that that's the point. She wants people hurt or killed, since they will first destroy Wonder Woman's good name. As Kale leaves, she also mentions that she absolutely loathes the museum wing the big event is happening at and wants it destroyed for good. In Gateway City, Diana attends a gala at the Natural History Museum, sporting a banging black dress and accompanied by Pegasus and Barbara Ann Minerva, who is overseeing the museum gala. It's great seeing Diana be so open to interacting with the people and just generally being in public. All of the other Absolute heroes, while some have had interactions with the public, they're very largely separated from them. Superman doesn't want to really get involved with them because he knows he could and might hurt them. Batman is it's Batman. Of course, he's not going to go shaking hands and kissing babies. The Flash and Green Lantern, they're kind of off doing their own sort of thing, so they don't really have that much time to interact with the public, though Flash has on occasion, and Martian Manhunter is just Martian Manhunter, just a weird alien guy. So I like that Diana is getting the proper hero treatment, complete with museum ribbon-cutting ceremonies and parties. Hayden Sherman's art continues to be just incredible, and their work here in these opening gala pages is really unique. I love how the colour from Jordie Bellaire highlights Diana and Barbara Ann amongst all the people. The people are slightly toned down in all of their colours, so they stand out more, though they kind of already stand out anyway because Diana is clearly 1.5 feet taller than everyone else there, so she sticks out in the crowd. Diana and Barbara head inside, and Diana is impressed with Barbara's work at the museum, as it's revealed the new exhibit is all about Amazonian history. The women meet with Steve and they go over some of the pieces in the exhibit, but something begins affecting Diana and she collapses. Sometime in the past, Diana spars with Artemis in the Wild Isle, proving to the goddess that she is improving in her form, but still has a lot to learn. During the session, Diana asks why Aphrodite never comes to see her anymore, but Artemis plays dumb, acting like she doesn't know the answer. Diana proposes a challenge. If she beats Artemis, she will answer the question. Artemis agrees, transforming into her chimera form. This fight is just so well done, and in just a creative way, as Sherman is again let off the chain and goes wild with what they can really do. And it's really interesting. It's like the page layout is just all these different little boxes getting smaller and smaller and smaller as you get to the bottom of the page, kind of hinting at this battle has gone on for ages and ages, that we don't need to see all of it. You just kind of get the gist of it. This is a long battle, long drawn out battle, and I really like how it's all set out. And again, just the pages across the entire book and across this entire series have been amazing, on just a a layout function. They're not just your usual, 3 or 6, on the page. They're like half circles or triangles or weird slash cuts across the page or anything like that. There's just like whatever goes. And I really like that. It's just really great way of telling a story, keeping things interesting, keeping things moving, making things, even like the most mundane chat between two people, interesting to look at and read. After a long and hard-fought battle, Diana bests the goddess, wanting to know why Aphrodite doesn't come and see her anymore. Artemis does not like that she's wasting her question on that, since maybe she doesn't come to see Diana since she's got nothing more to learn from her. Diana is quite confused since one of her earliest memories is of Aphrodite telling her love is more powerful than anything on earth, something Artemis doesn't believe one bit, thinking that Diana shouldn't really trust the gods at all. These flashbacks have been a real secret weapon for this book, since while filling in Diana's backstory, it gives us a great insight into some of the gods' differing viewpoints and how it's put them largely at odds with one another and with Diana. But it's really interesting as well because Diana is open to listening to these gods. She doesn't outrightly say, you are wrong. She, gives them her point of view and tries to convince them of a different way, which is something that Kelly Thompson has been building up through this entire run. A Wonder Woman who is more prone to talking things out, trying to negotiate things rather than violence. She doesn't like going straight to violence. She wants to talk things out to see if there is a simpler, less violent way. And I like that that's even employed when she's talking with literal gods. Diana says that she misses Aphrodite and none of the gods tell her anything true, but Artemis doesn't think that that's entirely true. Back in the present, Diana manages to wake up, finding she was only unconscious for a few seconds. Diana soon finds something is definitely wrong as she cannot access her magic. However, she's not cut off from it since she notes that her right arm is still attached to her body, and if she was cut off completely from her magic, it would disappear. Confused as to what is happening to her, Diana warns Steve and Barbara to get the others out of the room and to find Etta and Gia for her. But it's too late as Zatanna makes her grand entrance, exploding in through the roof, and she's not alone this time, as she has brought the Suicide Squad with her. And there it is, the absolute Suicide Squad in all its glory. We got Giganta, who is actually going by the name Zool in this universe, which is just her last name. Her name is Doris Zool, so she's just going by Zool. Dr. Poison, Zatanna, Cheetah, and Ara, the Menfish Queen. That's a neat little team, and I love that the squad is seemingly now a Wonder Woman villain team. It's about time Diana got some decent rogues going, and this is mostly made up of Wonder Woman's rogues anyway, but I just like that the Suicide Squad is just all of Diana's rogues now. Like, that's just their team now. That's really interesting, and a really interesting way to do the Suicide Squad. And of course, like, we're probably going to get other Suicide Squads too. I mean, the Suicide Squad isn't just one set team, it's always changing. So just because we have an all-female Wonder Woman-centric villain team here doesn't mean we're not going to get, Deadshot joining the team, or hell, a Peacemaker could join the team. Who knows? All bets are off. The Suicide Squad is here, and I can't wait to see what they do. Interestingly, the Cheetah is part of the team, and it's not Barbara Ann, since Barbara Ann is usually the Cheetah. There have been other Cheetahs, so it might be one of those people, but I'm interested to see if it's going to be a curse, or if this is like one of Kale's experiments, like she turned someone unwillingly into a Cheetah woman. It'd be very interesting to see what that is, and I imagine Diana's going to, much like she does try with Cheetah normally, try to help and try to cure them. I imagine that's going to be a big thing with this arc, with the Wonder Woman and the Suicide Squad. Zatanna, who's been using her binding magic on Diana to limit her access to magic, asks if Wonder Woman is ready for this, making Diana realize what the magical woman did to her when she faced her in Greece, and how she is now bound to her completely, and Zatanna plans on making Wonder Woman do some terrible things with her magic. The plan just being to tarnish Diana's name feels so Silver Age comic coded. Like you'd see those clickbaity old school comic book covers where, you know, a villain is bad mouthing a superhero to the public or something, or making it look like they did something when they didn't. It just happened countless times, and I like that that's the basic story that's going on here. They're just trying to destroy her good name, the good name and the faith in the people that have been built up over the last couple of issues. And that's really cool. I really like that. It feels like a very Wonder Woman thing to do. Like she has to combat this threat and try to win the hearts of the people back. That's really damn cool. So I think we're in for a pretty fun storyline with this 5-issue Zatanna arc. Absolute Wonder Woman issue 16 introduced some new and interesting things into the Absolute universe, first and foremost being the new Suicide Squad, which is a group of Wonder Woman-centric villains in this world, which is really fantastic. I love that Wonder Woman now actually has a rogues gallery that is worthy of standing next to Batman and Superman. I love that Kelly Thompson also continues to test Diana's resolve and what her beliefs are in really creative and fun ways from issue to issue, arc to arc, putting her up against someone who's literally trying to undo everything she's done in this world, all the goodwill she has done in this world. So it's an interesting story arc to have for the next 5 issues, and I can't wait to see what Kelly Thompson does with it. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.